Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Excel Today. I know it's been 2 weeks since we've been here, but we're back and we have a very exciting topic today that Joe is very hyped about. He was just telling me all about it just before we came on, that Power Automate is the big game changer. If anyone's been using VBA or anything like that for a long time, Power Automate's here to shake up your world.
Oh, yeah. Super excited. Let's
Yeah.
automate some processes. I'm ready to go.
How have you been the past 2 weeks, Joe?
Busy, yeah. So I've just been doing a lot of trainings, getting into some of that Power Automate that we're going to talk about today. Really just amazing stuff there. So that's why I'm super excited to share it with you. How's everything been on your end though, Ben?
It's been actually really great. The big announcement on our side is that our new video on demand service, Learn It Anytime, launched finally on our new platform. It's on Teachable now. Teachable is a great platform. There is all the videos are there. We rechaptered them. They look great. And then also we've made it so you automatically earn your certificates completion. And so just a big update for our patrons. We will be no longer offering the silver and gold patron packages. Those will be cycled out, and we're going to have everyone just go to Learn It Anytime now going forward. So if you want to support us and everything like that and keep supporting us, please go to learnitanytime.com. We'll be changing up the links. We're going to have a big deal for everybody. It's going to be launching tomorrow. We're just finishing up the marketing piece with the marketing team, but it'll be 50% off for life. So it's going to be the only time we actually put this product on sale. It's going to be 50% off for life. Well, I should say at sale at this rate, because I think we have a Cyber Monday for like 15% off already planned. But
nice.
If you want 50% for life, you're going to want to sign up once we start the promo, and it will run until the 1st of October or the first 10,000 people. And that'll, like I said, you'll start seeing all the links on our channel change tomorrow to the new promo. And again, just for our patrons, you've all been brought into the new Learn It Anytime. You've all been upgraded to that package. Everything that you've paid for, you'll continue to get. It's just we're not going to take on anyone new. We're going to let that kind of wind down a little bit. Right now, you can still earn the bronze certificates. You can still purchase those, and you can go from there. So that's a major change, I know, for the channel. And again, we'll be making those. We'll be switching that around and everything like that. And you'll see the Patreon removed from the site. And again, we'll replace everything with our new video on demand library, Learn It Anytime. Again, it's the ad-free, earn your certificate version of our channel. We'll be adding exams to that as well. They're just going to be built. And Joe, I got to talk to you about that, but it's not anything that we're going to be adding right away, but it will be there eventually, people. So it's a much better experience. It tracks everything much better for you, and it's way better than what we had set up before.
That's super amazing. Yeah, I know how much work you put into that. So I mean, just for it to kind of come to life now is, oh man, yeah, you're all in for a treat. I mean, Ben's just awesome at delivering content and really just cares about all of you. So thanks for supporting us as well. And super excited. What kind of mugs do we have today?
For me, I have my old Final Fantasy Tactics mug. Oh, let me see. It's always hard to tell what side of the camera. So, this way. So,
I love it.
Tactics, one of my favorite games. One of my favorite cups.
Oh man, yeah. I was just telling Ben before. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII remake. Pretty good. Yeah.
Great game.
Great game. Yeah. Try it out. This isn't really my mug, it's my wife's mug, but I thought I'd, put it on here, just have a mug. It says, "I'm a mom, what's your superpower?" I thought that was kind of clever. So
I guess yours is Power Automate.
I did this on purpose. No, just all right, yeah, we have a lot. I mean, this is gonna take us a second, so yeah, just dive in and good morning, everyone. Let's get right into Power Automate. I'm gonna just really talk about Power Automate for a second before we share my screen. But if you don't know what Power Automate is, it's a Microsoft product. It allows us to really connect and integrate everything across Office Suite. All right, Office 365, which is just amazing. It does have some integration with other things as well, like you can integrate with Gmail, Trello, so you can take a look at those and really just I would go to the Power Automate, go to the interface, and then take a look what else it integrates with. And I know Mahadir had a great question asking if both Automate integrates with other systems. So yeah, I would take a look at that because it's so vast, and it's just a great topic. With that said, what I thought we'd do today, something more simplistic, nothing too simplistic, but nothing too crazy at the same time, because you could get really advanced in Power Automate really quick. So today, what I thought we would do, and I spent all night yesterday trying to think of what would be great to show everyone. Well, I noticed that a lot of people are using Microsoft Forms, and a lot of people are using Microsoft Teams for communication. So I'm going to take those two and put them together. And what I came up with was a request system. So if you're using a business that tracks customer requests, I'm going to be able to take a request that they fill out via a form through Microsoft Forms. And the minute they fill it out, it's going to shoot over to your Microsoft Teams into a group chat that gives you all the information. Now, yes, you could shoot it into a channel as well. You could shoot it into a certain team, but I thought group chat would be really cool to show you today. So that's what we're going to do. All right.
Yeah, just a quick, just to say good morning to Eben, Cristiano, Joffrey, Fayaz, Pisano Collection Center. I hope I said that right. I'm sure I didn't. And then Fayaz, I see you said you wanted to learn VBA. We do have a ton of VBA videos on our channel. They're fantastic. They're some of the best VBA videos out there. You'll be learning from Chelsea. They're fantastic. So if you want to learn VBA, I definitely recommend going to our channel, looking at the VBA beginner and starting from there and working your way up. You will learn VBA very well from there. And, I also see put that you were jobless. It's a great skill to have, and it's a great way to move up is to learn that VBA. But Power Automate's here to take over. So let's get back to you, Joe.
Yeah, no, great. Yeah, I mean, Power Automate is great too. So if you want to get more into this as well, it takes VBA, all that backcoding that you would learn, because think about it, VBA is another language, and it kind of just shrinks it into a nice little interface that you can use. Especially with the desktop version for Power Automate, there is a new desktop version that is allowing for even more simplistic ways to create these different processes and workflows. But today, I'm going to show you an amazing workflow. Let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to go straight from scratch here.
All right, there we go.
Everyone can see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Looks good. Looks good.
Welcome, everyone. All right.
Getting fancy with the Zoom it.
Yeah, some fancy stuff. So what we're going to do is this. I thought, let's start off with making the form, because essentially what our workflow is going to be is this. All right. We're going to want to have someone fill out a form. All right. So this is going to be the form, Microsoft Forms. And they're going to fill out these couple of questions here throughout the form. And this information that they fill out is then going to be captured and shot over into our Teams. Now, the Teams, what this will do, once we're in Teams, is in our chat section, you will see, you see the chat. I'm trying to recreate what it looks like, but I think it's looking okay. So you'll see the chat, and in that chat, you will see the information that came over from the form right here, all in a nice little box for you. So I'm super excited to share this with you. You can start using this right away, by the way. So right after this video, set it up. You're more than welcome to if you have access to Power Automate. So with that said, the first thing that I'm going to do is create that form. And I'm going to do so by going to office.com. All right, that's where I can access all my online versions of my apps. So I go to office.com. Tells me good morning. I love that. And then I scroll down to get to my app. Now, if you don't see your apps on the left-hand side, no worries. This is because these are the apps I most frequently use. You're more than welcome to click on all apps, and you'll find it there as well. But I can see my forms right here, so I'm going to give it a click. Now, I'm going to create a new form by clicking on New Form. And we're just going to create this form. We're going to keep it very simplistic. We're going to name this Joe's Fun Automate form. All right, we're just making it up. And what this is going to do is I'm going to add this. I'm going to add a new question, and we're going to do a text. Now, the first one's going to be just your name. I think that's simple enough. What's your name? And they'll enter in that answer. We'll then click on add another new question. And this one, I think we should do another text asking for the phone number so that, well, when we get that information, we can give them a call. So I'm going to say your phone number. Next up, I'm going to add another new question here. We'll do today's date. That's important. So today's date. And then we're going to add one more question. This is going to be a multiple choice question here. And this one's going to be, what service do you need? And we can add some random ones here. I'm just going to go with like, maybe they need marketing service. And then look, this is one of my favorite things about Microsoft Forms is it starts to use that AI logic to come up with some suggestions for you. So you'll see here, I put marketing in here, but now automatically it says, well, Joe, these are related. Do you want to do research, engineering? And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, engineering. It puts it in there. Research, sales. And I think that's good. I think those four are good. You know what? Let's even add another option here. I'm going to add other option. And what this does is it says other, and then you can just put in an actual term that's not selectable here, which is nice. Now I only want them to select one, so I'm not going to choose multiple answers, but I do want them to be able to require, which means they have to answer each of these questions. So I'm going to go to this one, require it, this one, require it, and this one, require it. I think our form looks great. If I preview it, this is what it looks like on my computer now. And this is what it will look like in the mobile device. You can toggle between both just to see what will this look like. And I see here on the mobile device, there it is. Okay, so we have our form created. This is great. I'm excited for it. But now we have to go and create that group chat, right? So you want to make sure that when you're using Power Automate, you have all the stuff already pre-created. All right, so you have the forms created, the Power Automate created. If you're using SharePoint, make sure that's created. Just make sure you have all of the, well, ingredients before you go to create the cake, for a lack of a better way of explaining that. So now I have my fun automation. I'm going to open up my Teams, and I'm going to create a new chat here. All right, and Ben, I'm just going to put you in the chat. And I'm going to put my friend Liz in the chat as well. Now, once I have both Ben and Liz, I can click this little drop down and name the chat. This is really important because when you're using Power Automate, it goes by the group ID of that chat. So it's important to name it something that makes sense. And for this one, I'm just going to call this customer tracking or customer request tracking. Yeah, I don't care. Customer request
tracking.
All right, so we just named this. It looks great. I'm just going to put something in here like, hey, this is where all the customer request will show. Okay, so now we have our little customer request tracking chat, right? So now the plan is to take everything on this form, and the minute somebody fills out the form, it automatically captures it into that Teams account or that Teams chat, right? Now, like I said before, you could do a Teams channel instead. You could do a team. It could build a team off of a response. So if you're like, for instance, maybe using Teams for each individual customer, this would be a great way to automate that process. Instead of every time they fill out a form, you go in and have to create it manually. I love that about Power Automate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go to Power Automate since we have both things created. And Power Automate looks like this. It looks like this little flow icon pushing to the right. So I'm going to give it a click. And I'm just going to tour the interface real quick just so you have an idea of what it is, because it could be a little overwhelming at first. We have here just a couple of just quick videos if you wanted to learn more about Power Automate. You could search for templates. You could search for flows that you've created already. It tells you a couple of templates you could try. It's like, hey, save Office 365 email attachments to OneDrive for business. Okay, that could come in handy. But over here on the left-hand side, you will see the pane, like my flows. You'll see that you can create one from scratch. You can go to templates and see all the templates they have available to you. And boy, do they have so many templates. Like, it's insane how many they have. Look at this. Save your Gmail attachments to a Dropbox folder. How amazing is that? Or get a daily reminder from Outlook.com email. Or some more advanced ones where we get into, okay, email me with a list of upcoming calendar events. Or send specific files created in OneDrive as an email attachment. You can even convert Word files into OneDrive to a PDF and then store it in a SharePoint site automatically. You don't do any of this. It happens automatically. So you'll just see through all of these different templates, and there's billions of them. You would just, if you wanted to, like, for instance, I want to create something with SharePoint. I could just type in SharePoint, and it's going to show me all the workflows and all the automations that include SharePoint. Pretty amazing. But today we're creating one from scratch because we like to do that. We like to challenge ourselves. What I'm going to do is this. So when you start from blank, it says, okay, there's a couple of ways we can create a flow. We can either automated cloud flow, which is triggered by some sort of event that happens. For instance, someone filling out the form. We could also do an instant cloud flow, which is like a button that you create. It's a trigger that's manually needed to be pressed. So I'll have to press the button for it to run, which can still help. We can do a schedule flow, which we can choose how often it runs and how many times it runs in occurrence. So maybe I want this workflow to run once every month. We have desktop flows, business flows. We're not really going to go into these today, but today what we're going to use is the automated cloud flow, because I want this to be triggered by a certain event, which is going to be, well, when someone fills out the form. Now, you have to understand, when you're dealing with flows, workflows like this, and you want to automate a process, there's two major components. The first component is the trigger. What is going to make this happen? What is going to start this? And as I just showed you, there's a couple of different triggers that we can use. Manually pressing something to start it, having it just do it by itself when something happens, or having it occur at a certain time of day. After the trigger, it then goes down to the actual action. So after that trigger goes off, something happens. Now you can get into like more advanced stuff like conditions, which a lot of flows you'll see have conditions, because when you trigger something, something will happen. And then based off of this action, it might happen something different, or something else might happen, and then those will have their own consequences. Very similar to if we've used if you've seen previous videos, we've used the if function. If this happens, do this. If this happens, do this instead. All right, so very similar to that, but we're keeping it simple. We're just going to do a trigger, an action, and then another action. So I'm going to use the automated cloud flow. And it's going to say, well, Joe, what do you want to name your flow? You can either name it or you don't have to. It'll create a generic name for it. And I don't really want to focus on the name right now because I don't know what to name it. But I do want to go here and choose what is the trigger. So what's the thing that's going to start this off? Well, whenever somebody fills out the form, I want it to start this process. So you'll see one of the first options here says, when a new response is submitted from Microsoft Forms. Works for me. If you didn't see this at the top, you could have just said, okay, I'm looking for something that connects to Forms. And look, it'll show everything that comes up with Forms. They have Elastic Forms, Plum Sale Forms. These are different applications. So as I said before, the integration outside of Microsoft is even amazing as well. But we're using Microsoft Forms. So when I get a new response, that's going to be the trigger. And I'm going to click Create. Now it's going to say, okay, Joe, well, what form do you want? Like, what form are you using? And I believe we named this form Joe's Fun Automate form. So we should find that here in our little drop-down list. And where are you? Joe's Fun Automate form. So you will find it here. Be sure that if you're already in Power Automate and you create the form and you're already on this page, you have to refresh it. Otherwise, it won't show up in this list. So I'm going to use Joe's Fun Automate form. Now I'm going to add a new step because remember, this is just a trigger. It's saying when a new response is submitted on this form, start this. Now I'm going to do a new step. And the next step is I want to capture their details. Like, what did they write in the form? Right now, it's just telling me it's starting this. It's not really capturing anything. So I can search once again for an action here. I can search for forms. And I'm going to look right here. Get response details. That's exactly what I want. So when this starts, it then gets their details. So I'm going to give it a click. Once again, it's asking for that same thing, the form ID. What form are we getting the details from? So I'm going to click the drop down and I'm going to choose Joe's Fun Form. It might take a second. That's okay. It's just going through all the forms you have access to. There it is. Now I'm going to click on Joe's Fun Automate form. And then it's going to ask me for what is the response ID? Well, we can pull the response ID from this form already. And this is pretty nice because when you click into the response ID, it says, hey, Joe. There it is. So it already tells me that the response ID is right here and I can click it. You always want the response ID to be, well, the response ID. All this is doing is saying, okay, we're going to go to Joe's Fun Automate form and we're going to take those responses and capture them. So far, all that's happening is when somebody submits a form, it's capturing the details of that form, the answers. Now we're going to add the last step. And the last step has to do with teams. So I'm going to type in teams. And what I want to do is I want to take these captured details, the response details, and put them into a new post message in a chat or a channel. But look at this. You can get a message. You can add a member. You can create a team. Like I said before, you can do anything you want. But for today, we're going to do the post message and chat or channel. Now it's going to say, okay, what do you want this to be posted as? Like, who's posting? Is it going to be a flow bot, which is just a AI intelligence? So really all it's asking is, do you want this to say Joe's posting this into the chat? Or do you want to say this is some sort of artificial intelligence posting this into the chat? And I'm going to say artificial intelligence. Because if I pick user, which you could do, it'll just simply say the user you want, which would be like Joe. But I think the flow bot's going to be a lot simpler. Next, we're going to say, okay, post in what? Which group chat do you want to post in where? So I have to just simply select what it was. And the chat that I want to do is I can post this in a channel, or I could post this chat with a flow bot, or I can post this in a group chat, which we already have the group chat created. So I'm going to click group chat. Now I have to choose what is the group chat. And if you remember, we named it before. We named it customer request tracking. So I'm going to click the drop down. It's going to show me all my different group chats. We're going to go to customer request tracking. See, it's right there. And now we're going to type in whatever message we want. Now, the best thing about these messages is that you can take the information from the form and plug it into this message. And if you see over here, we have something called dynamic content. And we can plug in the answer to each of the questions we had. And if you remember, we had the question, what is your name? What is your phone number? Today's date? And what service do you need? We can even plug in the responder's email. How amazing is this? So what I'm doing is I'm going to create this new message and I'm going to call it new request. And I want to make it look pretty. Like I want it to be bigger font because it's a new request. Maybe let's do a red text, bold and underline it. And underneath there, now I'm just going to create 14. I'm going to change it back to a black text here. No bold, no underline. Let's see what it does. Oh, no bold or underline. There we go. And I'm going to say, let's do name. And we'll change this later. Name, And the name is going to be the answer that they put. Then we're going to do date of the request. The date is going to simply be today's date, whatever date they put in there. I'm going to put service needed. And whatever they put in that service needed, which was the answer to this question, what service do you need, will go there. And then, of course, contact number. And I'm going to put the phone number they answered. Okay. And you can change it. Like I said, I don't want this to be bold. I want it to be 14 and black font. There we go. Okay. So it looks a little nicer there. And let's get rid of that. Perfect. So that's what's going to be in the message now. It's going to come over like that. So it's going to capture those responses, the name, the date, the service, the phone number, and it's going to automatically push it into the chat. So now we're going to save this. Now you'll see it's untitled, but the minute we save, it creates a generic title, which says when a new response is submitted. So now that we have this saved, we can go into My Flows, click on the flow we just created. It tells us the status of it. It's on, when it was created, who created it, what its name is, and it'll tell me all the times it ran. Now, obviously it didn't run yet, so let me run it for you. We'll pretend I'm somebody else, okay? So a customer gets this form from our website. They fill it out. We'll say Jane Doe. She puts in her phone number. She puts in today's date. What service do I need? I need, marketing. Submit the form. Thanks, your response was submitted. Now, if we go back over to Power Automate here, it might take a second, because remember, what happens with this, look at that. How cool is this? We'll take a look at that in a second. But what I want to explain to you is wait a minute for your flows to run. The reason why is because Microsoft batches all of these flows, so it does go through a system before it runs. Now, as you can see, I did get this new alert now, and look at this, new request, name Jane Doe, date 9/9/2021, service needed, marketing, contact number, boom, right there. So now my entire team will never miss a new request, all from when somebody fills out a form. How cool is that, right? How everything just goes together. And this is just one very simplistic, small example of the power of Power Automate. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to stop my screen sharing here for a sec. And there we go.
Thank you very much, Joe. Man, my lighting got really bad here all of a sudden. Usually I'm really good at getting my lighting down. But thanks a lot for showing that. It reminds me a lot of Zapier. So if anyone's been used to using Zapier, they're another large Power Automate, or I should say automation task service. Theirs is a little bit more different, as you have to go into their web browser interface and use everything in there. And honestly, it's not as intuitive as Power Automate is. Power Automate is a lot easier to use than Zapier, just my personal opinion. So I'm sure there's going to be some people, Zapier people, that are going to be like, no, it's, and I get it. Maybe, Zapier probably connects to more things and everything like that. But I mean, Power Automate is very impressive.
Yeah, it is. And it's sort of Microsoft's revamping it. It used to be, maybe most of you know this, it used to be Microsoft Flow. And then they revamped it, they renamed it, they rebranded it, Microsoft Automate. And they just came out with the desktop version, and they are adding a lot more integration to it. As you can see, we can get like different forms from different company services, not just Microsoft Forms. So yeah, it's really great, and I do expect big things in the future for it. So yeah,
me as well. It's definitely the future of the Office suite, so to speak, as they're trying to also tie that in with Power FX. So you personalize all your own automation. And it's really cool what they have ideas for that. but it is almost time. I don't know if you. Oh, hey Sue, good to see you again out there in Texas.
Oh, thanks, Nicole.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Sue.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, thank you. Just a couple quick updates also on the channel. We are still producing tons of videos. Our Power BI series is still going. Again, that Power BI series is built towards you getting certified for the exam and getting you ready for the exam, for the DA 100 exam. So part 4 will be tomorrow. We also have our usual offsite event tomorrow as well. And then as far as videos go, we still have a ton that are being produced. I think I have 5 people currently recording videos right now. They're recording SQL querying is going to be one that comes up very soon. We have a new Visio video that'll be coming out. I'm really excited about the Visio one. The person that we have, she's fantastic. Honestly, I think she's going to be one of the best videos we have after talking with her.
Visio is fun. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I got a demo and I was blown away. So very good. And then, as far as guests go, on the 23rd, we'll have a special guest. Our CEO will be here on Excel Today. He's the guy who's made it all happen for you guys. So all the videos that you've seen and everything like that, he's really gotten behind the idea of making the channel be bigger than it was before. So he'll be here on the 23rd, and I'm trying to get a guest for next week. I'm not making any promises. I am going to be reaching out to a few past guests to see if they'll be here, but again, no promises on who they'll be. But it looks like Bill has a quick question. Let's get that on there. High level question. Is it possible, yes or no, to collect these responses into a database, and then some other actions could be initiated from those records?
Yes, Bill, great question. So yes, you're more than welcome to do that. So what you would do is you would just choose what database you're looking at. I believe that it may be connected to a SQL Server. Don't quote me. I'm going to take a look right now for you. But yes, you are able to do that. So if you get a response, you can post it into a database, put the responses there. And then if you wanted to initiate like a condition based off of whatever you're looking for, maybe a certain criteria, you can then filter out and do so much. There's just so much you can do in there. I always say you should just go in there, really just play around with it. I mean, there really is. It's just so much you can do. But I just want to answer that question real quick. Let's see what kind of databases they have.
Yeah, and Bill, I just want to add, because I worked with Zapier a lot before. When you start setting up those reactions, it's like a chain. So if one link in the chain breaks, that whole chain that you build up, the deeper you go, is gonna break, and it's harder to troubleshoot what part is broken. So, like, even though you can do that, you probably want to limit how many of those go through, because the more complicated you make it, the more like when there is trouble, it's gonna be a lot harder to troubleshoot exactly what's not going through.
Yeah, and to answer that question, there are databases like Oracle, MySQL. They have Zoa, Azure. So you're more than welcome to do that. But as Ben said, take caution with just running all those through, because if one little clink in the chain, the whole process gets thrown out of whack.
Yeah. Let's see. I have another question. Do you offer training to groups? Yes, we do. If you guys are interested in group training, you can always email sales@learnit.com. They'll pick right up and they will get you set up within a day if they possibly can. So our sales team is always ready. That's what we actually do. Most of 90% of what Learnit does is group training. We train companies all throughout the Bay Area and all throughout the United States and also throughout the globe. We've trained everywhere and anywhere, and we will customize the training to your group so you get the most return on investment, or ROI.
Awesome.
I know we're a little bit over time, but see if we can get any more questions.
Oh, I saw Bill's.
Which one? The Visio one?
Oh, the other one. Yeah, you have to pay for it. You know, Visio is licensed per user. So.
Yeah, per user. That's just a Microsoft thing. When a program is niche, but the users use it very heavily, that's usually what happens is they make it a premium program. Yeah. So, to support it, they have to have those users pay for it. So that's just why it is like that. And let's see.
As for your second question, Bill, Yeah, you're more than welcome to. Actually, it works a lot easier with Excel. And I know, yeah, Power Query is just amazing for doing those different queries. So you're more than welcome to run off of a form, get the responses, and then what you would do is you would select Excel, add a table or a row, and it will take the responses, turn it into a nice little database there, where then you can use Power Query to really start to manipulate that data and transform it.
All right. Well, we are way over time. So we're going to wrap it up here real quick. But thank you, everybody, for your questions. Thank you for joining us today. And also, thank you for your continued support. Our channel has been doing fantastic. We've been able to make more new content for you guys. I like that with your support. And, if you like everything that you see, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps us keep producing this type of content for you and keep bringing free training for you guys. And I'm excited to keep bringing more videos to you guys. We have a backlog now, so we're not going to run out of material anytime soon. So every Friday, 9:30, there'll be a new training video, just like clockwork. I know I was trying to increase it to 2 or 3. That's taking a little bit longer just because I did not realize how many people I would need to be constant recording, how many editors I would need, but we will get there eventually. And yeah, we're going to have more great things. And then again, check out our new video on demand. It's ad-free, no ads. You can earn certificates. www.learnitanytime.com. Check it out. And again, tomorrow we're going to be having the once in a lifetime deal, 50% off for life. So if you keep it for 20 years, you're going to have that pricing for the rest of your life. And yeah, it's going to become the kind of like our main focus going forward. Not to say that the channel is going to lose anything or anything like that. The channel will always get the videos first, but it's going to become our primary focus of where we spend our energy. Just give you guys a heads up. But have a great weekend, and we hope to see you guys here tomorrow for both of our videos.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.